Keller ISD community. Just wanted to check in with you and make sure that you are aware of some of the things going on here in Keller ISD and how some of the decisions that are made at the state level are affecting us. If you have not heard, probably have heard, but if you haven't heard, Governor Greg Abbott has declared a public health disaster this afternoon due to COVID-19. This is actually the first time that's happened in terms of declaring that kind of a disaster since 1901. There are lots of things that are involved in that, but specific to schools, what that means is that we are now, as a district, and every district across the state, the campuses are closed down through April the 3rd, which is a Friday. At that time, when we get closer to April the 3rd, my anticipation is that they will start doing some assessments in terms of this particular issue with COVID-19. And if they feel like it's safe to reopen schools, they'll give us that directive. Otherwise, we are now at following their lead. And now that the state has taken over the opening or closures of schools, that's where we're at. And I know that in some cases is helpful because we know everybody's doing the same thing. In other cases, it's a little unsettling because we don't know right now what the future holds as it relates to now or at the end of the school year. I have had full transparency. I have had a few students actually start to reach out to me a little bit and ask those questions about what does year end mean, and I will tell you exactly what I've told some seniors who have emailed me. The year end events are some of the events that actually weigh the most heavily on me. As a former high school principal, I know how important it is for these year end events to happen. But I will tell you absolutely without a doubt that right now we just don't know. We don't know what year end holds. And we are going to continue to monitor and follow the advice, obviously, of the state. But we have not ruled out anything for year end. But we also are going into this eyes wide open that if this thing progresses and if this thing gets worse or does not alleviate enough for the state to bring us back, then we're just going to be following the directives as given by the state. So you just need to hang in there with us and hang in there with me and just know that we're doing everything we can do to make sure we finish the year out as normally as possible, even though this is a completely abnormal situation that we're experiencing around the entire state. Here's what I know. I'm certain that through all of the things that are happening, I know we have amazing teachers, amazing staff that are doing amazing work right now. I've received a number of text message, emails, tweets, just about people who have been reaching out, teachers who have been reaching out, connecting to our kiddos. And that is going to be the continuation into next week because we have just pushed out what does online learning really even look like. So we're pushing that out to our teachers so they can then best support our students and honestly our parents who are now working on, so what does this actually look like for us in our homes? If you haven't watched it on WFAA, we had a quick little highlight from one of our staff members, Sarah Kaprowski, who highlighted some of the details of what that best looks like for you at home, and that's just set routines and set up a space for kids to do schoolwork. But we're slowly going through this, and we're not expecting to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour overnight. So we do know that there's going to be some bumps in this road, but we're going to work through that with you. So beginning on March 23rd, if you haven't already heard from your teachers, that's when really more of this online digital learning will begin. But I will tell you one time, and I will continue to repeat this, this is not meant to be as stressful as this moment might be. We are trying our best to relieve that as much as possible. This is working different. People are going to start asking about grades, and they're going to start asking about GPA, and they're going to start asking about class rank and all of those different things. And those are the pieces now that we've been able to tackle our support mechanisms for online learning. Those are the next pieces now that we have to tackle. So once we get those answers for you, we'll get those to you as soon as possible in terms of how this is all going to work. But we're going to make sure our kids receive the instruction that they need so that we don't have too much of a break, obviously, between now and next year. And they just need that support. So we're doing everything we're going to be able to do, and that we will solve some of those problems as we are able to check those boxes off in terms of the ones that we just needed to get ready for next week. As you know, hopefully, STAR and EOCs have been canceled, so that's one big stressor that you can take off your plate if you have not heard that. So anything related to STAR, EOC, STAR Alt, anything that is state assessment, has been canceled. So literally what we will be doing is providing instruction for the purpose purely for learning and for making sure that we don't have too much of an instructional gap between this year and next year. We will always find creative ways to do this. I don't know if you've been watching some of the things that have come out from Fine Arts that are doing some very creative ways of engaging our kids. We have a video that just came out to honor our Teachers of the Year. So that's another way we're trying to do business, kind of the same, but a little bit differently. And I will also tell you this, and just as a little quick teaser, tomorrow I need to be engaged with kids. So sometimes we do our, I'll stop and do an elementary school and read a book or whatever. But tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I plan on being on Facebook Live, and we will also be reading a book. Well, not we, me. I will be reading a book to whichever students want to hop in. If that's the course of their school day, it's right after lunch. They can sit down, read a book with me, and then it allows me just to feel like I've got some connectivity to the kids. So I hope this is the little brief announcement or update has been helpful. There'll be more, and as we get more information, we'll keep pushing things out. I will continue to ask you to go to our website and go to our FAQ page on coronavirus, which will we keep populating. We keep growing that FAQ list every time we get more questions. So hang in there. We're working our hardest to get you the information you need. We did just push out something about technology, so please look for that email as well. I do appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding. This is certainly a new way of doing school here at the end of the year. And I'm going to ask all of us in our community across the Keller ISD what I'm asking of our employees is that we're going to keep practicing grace with each other so that we can make this better and make this an amazing end of the school year. Thanks, and have a great rest of your night.